my name is Santi, and today it's Podcast Tuesday, and once again, another deck tech. Yup, because this time I'm going to Magic Fest in Brussels, in the I'll do Pioneer GP. And yeah, I'll just do all the Pioneer tournaments there. I'll just do the GP if I don't manage to qualify to the Mythic. Like I didn't qualify, but there is a final chance where I get. Oh, hello, Liz. How are you? Things are good. It's it's been raining a lot in the past days, but now it's stopped raining a bit, and yeah, it's quite good. Still good. Well, guess what? But still, if I in the GP, like not GP, I mean Magic Fest, right before the Mythic Championship, I can somehow net a position into. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I managed to win a two-head giant Pearly, so Pharaoh's Beyond Death, in case if you didn't know that. But yeah, cool. Yeah, it was actually quite good. My sealed pool. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, what was talking? So yeah, so if I manage to net a position into the Mythic Championship right before the right before the Mythic Championship, like if I manage to win one of those Mega Last Chance trials or something where if I get like 5-0, I actually get a position into Mythic Championship, and then like if I manage to get 5-0, by any chance that I can get the Mythic Championship. If I don't manage to do that, I've got 5 chances to do 5-0 in a single Mythic Championship, not Mythic Championship, qualifier. And if I don't make it to Mythic, then then I'll just do the Grand Prix. Yeah, doesn't matter. Let's start with the main board. Yep. Oh. Yeah, I forgot about something. There we go. So, first card in this deck is the Haunted Dead, and yeah, Haunted Dead is a good card. So it's like a 2-in-1. It comes with yeah, and it's quite good. Yeah, like it's a 4-mana 2/2 with 1 enter battlefield, put a 1/1 spirit with flying onto battlefield. And 2 mana, discard 2 cards, return Haunted Dead from a graveyard to battlefield, tapped. Yeah. And so it's quite good because first of all, it comes with a 1/1 spirit. And second of all, if it's in the graveyard, then you can use it, discard 2 cards, probably just discard Prized Amalgam for a bonus, or just discard other Haunted Deads or Scrap Trawlers just to then bring it back, and it's quite good, yeah. 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 It's good. Yeah. No. It's a good. It's really good because you can net 3 or 4 creatures onto the battlefield for just 2 mana, because for 2 mana you discard 2 cards and then just return it. So the 4 creatures, well, you can do like Haunted Dead, and then Haunted Dead and the Spirit token by itself, it's just 2 creatures. Discard a Prize Amalgam and it's free. Discard 2 Prize Amalgams and it's 4. That is excluding all the Prize Amalgams you might have had from before. So you can actually net 6 creatures for 2 mana. It's so good. Let's get to the next one. And it's there's the 2 major graveyard suppliers. There's Grizzly Salvage and Gather the Pack. So Grizzly Salvage is a 2 mana instant. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature on a land card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. So it can search off what you want and then put the rest into your graveyard. So you can get a land as well if you want the creatures in the graveyard, or you can get a creature if you want, and then just, and it's good to supply the graveyards. You get Narcomoebas, you get Creeping Chills, you can ready up some Prize Amalgams. You put Prize Amalgams there, so then when you bring something back, then Prize Amalgam will follow up. Yeah, it's so good. And the thing is that you can do it if you're looking for something to play in this turn, then you can do Grizzly Salvage on your turn. Otherwise, then just Grizzly Salvage during the opponent's turn on the second main phase. If you have nothing else to do, like if you only have 2 mana left, and just Grizzly Salvage in their turn, in the second main. So, and then, because not on the end step, because if you do it second main, then the creatures, like if you mill Narcomoeba, for example, the Prize Amalgams will enter battlefield at this turn, in this turn. If you do it on the end step and Narcomoeba enters battlefield, then it'll come in at the end of your turn. So you have to wait one full turn. Gather the Pack might be the worst version of Grizzly Salvage. It's 2 mana, sorcery, instead of being instant. Reveal top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. And Spell Mastery is if there are 2 or more instants and or sorcery cards in your graveyard, put up to 2 from among the revealed cards into your hand instead of 1. It really is insignificant, the Spell Mastery, but if you manage to get it and it's worth it, then it can actually be better than Grizzly Salvage. If not, then Grizzly Salvage is usually the better one. That's why we play 4 Grizzly Salvages and 3 Gather the Packs. That's one. And it's Creeping Chill. Creeping Chill and Narcomoeba, the free cards, basically. So Creeping Chill is a 4 mana sorcery, deals 3 damage to each opponent, and you gain 3 life. The mana cost can actually be a bit irrelevant, because if you mill it, you can exile it, and it deals 3 damage to each opponent, and you gain 3 life. So it does the same if you mill it. So you can actually get it for free if you mill it. Like Narcomoeba, say 2 mana, 1/1, illusion, flying. When it gets milled, you may put it into the battlefield. So yeah. So as far as I saw that if Narcomoeba would get milled and somehow you exile it from the graveyard before it enters the battlefield, it will actually not enter the battlefield. It's quite weird because it says put put it onto the battlefield. So knowing this text, it should be able to return to the battlefield from the exile. But no, that's not how it works, unfortunately. Well, next one. And there we go. It's a graveyard supplier attached to a creature. 4 copies. It's Setter Wayfinder. It's a 2-mana 1/1 Setter with when Setter Wayfinder and battlefield, reveal top 4 cards of your library. You may put land from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. So Setter Wayfinder will just supply you the graveyard, just like Gritty Salvage and Gather the Pack. Thing is that it will only get it's 1 less card, okay? It will only get you land. You can't get creature of it. But what's significant? It comes with a 1/1 creature, which could just hit the opponent slowly, so you put a bit of pressure. And do not run Sohana Wayfinder. That does not work. Your Sohana Wayfinder, 2-mana 2/1 Elf Scout. Yes, it's stronger than Setter Wayfinder, but the thing is that the trigger is look at the top 4 cards of your library. Okay, you don't reveal it. Okay. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put it on top of your library, not into your hand. Well, yes, you can get creature. Put the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order. You don't want them on the bottom. You want them in the graveyard. So then you can get Narcomoeba for free, which will follow up with Prize Amalgam. And you can have Driven to Despair in the graveyard, and then it will be worth it. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite good. It's still good. So don't worry. Soon I will put the deck list on MTG Goldfish. But yeah, don't worry. And let's just continue talking about the deck tech. Number 14, let's go. Well, not really 100, no, not really 14, but would have been better if it was actually the next card in this deck. It's what might be the win con. It's 2 copies of it. It's Driven / Despair, also known as Driven to Despair, or simply known as Driven Despair. Yeah. So the Driven part is 2-mana sorcery. Ow. On turn of turn, creatures you control gain trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to player, draw a card. And Despair, it's the other part, it's 2-mana sorcery with Aftermath. On turn of turn, creatures you control gain menace, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. So the Despair part is actually usually game winning. The Driven part, it's actually quite good, so you can get the cards in hand. And Trample, it's not really that significant. It may be significant only if you have Gurmag Anglers, but otherwise Trample is not really significant. Despair is the winning part, because it gives a menace, meaning it's hard to block, and it will make the opponent discard cards. So then they won't be able to play anything. Making the opponent discard cards is actually better than you drawing cards. Yeah. That's in my opinion. Next one.
And it's a Gurmag Angler, what is known as the 1 mana 5/5. 3 copies. 7 mana 5/5 zombie fish with Delve. So yeah, how this works is, okay, how it's 1 mana, it's because you Delve, meaning that you can exile a card from the graveyard to make this card cost 1 less. So as you're casting this, so it goes, okay, Gurmag Angler. So let's say you exile 4 cards from the graveyard. You then pay 2 and 1 black mana. Exile 4 cards from the graveyard, and then you cast Gurmag Angler. Or if you cast Gurmag Angler, exile 6 cards from the graveyard. You have to then pay 1 black more, and then you get it. And or if you don't exile anything, then you have to pay for 7 mana. Yeah. It's really good because it can get really cheap. So you just exile all those useless cards in the graveyard. So you just exile all those lands, Ashiok, and yeah. So what you should do with Gurmag Angler when delving: first, exile the lands, of course. You don't do anything with lands in the graveyard. Next, you exile Ashiok. Ashiok, you don't do anything with planeswalkers in the graveyard. After that, exile instants and sorceries. Even the spell mastery part isn't really that important. It's not really that significant. And finally, the creatures. You should always exile the creatures last because the thing is that you can exile creatures to the effect of Scrap Trawler instead of and you save them for and then you just save them. Just don't exile any utility graveyard. So don't exile Driven to Spare. Don't exile Haunted Dead. You just exile a useless graveyard. And the order of priority: lands, Planeswalker, also known as just Ashiok, because Ashiok's the only Planeswalker, instants and sorceries, and finally creatures. Yeah, that's the priority order. Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, it's very game winning. And let's get to the next one. And it's extra mill, 4 copies of it, Stitcher's Supplier. It's 1 mana 1/1 zombie. When enters battlefield or dies, mill free. So it's good because it comes with more cards. So you just mill 3 cards. Then when it dies, you mill 3 more. So you can actually supply your graveyard more than Grisly Salvage and Gather the Pack. Usually it will supply the graveyard more than Senator Wayfinder, so because this is when enters or dies. So mills free comes in, mills free comes out. This directly just top 4, take land, and then mill the rest. So you mill 3 or 4 cards in there. This is for Grizzly Salvage, you just top 5, take 1, mill 4, or possibly just mill 5 even if you're unlucky with Grizzly Salvage, or just mill 5 even. Not sure if even unlucky if you just mill 5 with Grizzly Salvage. Gathered Pack, it's just review top 5, take 1, or take 1 or take 2, so you mill 3, mill 4, or mill 5 with this. But this mills 3 or mills 6, so it's really good. So either mills the most or mills the least, but mill for sure. Yeah, it's so good. and it can be used as a chump blocker as well. Also, its die effect can actually the die effect can actually be used as an evasive ability because they don't really want to kill it. Yeah, really. Because they kill it, they give you an advantage. And they don't want to give you an advantage. So they don't kill it. So it's evasive. Let's get to card 11. And it's Scrap Trawler. It is another form of retrieval because it's 2 mana, 3/2, artifact, creature, construct, can't block. Okay, yes, but 2 mana, down another creature from your graveyard to bring back Scrap Trawler from your graveyard to battlefield. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier with the Gurmag Angler. Try avoid eating creatures because that was meant for Scrap Trawler. He was meant to eat the creatures, not Gurmag Angler. So the job of eating creatures was meant to be for Scrap Trawler, not for the Gurmag Angler. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah, really. It's a really good card. Next one. And there we go. That's the follow-up I was talking about. Prized Amalgam. Yep, it's really good. So, yeah. How this works is... Yeah. It's 3 mana, free, but you rarely pay the cost as well. It's whenever a creature enters battlefield, if it enters from graveyard or you cast it from graveyard, return Prized Amalgam from graveyard to battlefield tapped at the beginning of the next end step. Whoa! Okay, never mind. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, so mill Narcomoeba. Okay, Prized Amalgam will return. You mill you bring back Scrap Trawler from graveyard to battlefield. Prized Amalgam follows up. You bring back Haunted Dead. Prized Amalgam will follow up. All the Prized Amalgams you discarded with Haunted Dead also follow up. You get a spirit token. Yeah, it's so good because it'll follow up with many cards. That's basically it follows with 10 cards in this deck. So it's a 1 in 6 chance that Prized Amalgam will follow up this card. 1 in 6 cards in this deck will most likely get followed up by Prized Amalgam. Yeah, it's so good. The follow-up effect is really good. Yeah. And it can just keep on coming back. Yeah. Let's get to the next one. Now this is a flexible one. So it's Ashiok Dream Render. So it has 2 functions. It's a self mill effect. So you can mill yourself. Or you can use it to eliminate the enemy graveyard strategy. So if they are playing a mirror match, this actually destroys them. It plays 1 in the main deck and 1 in the sideboard because it's really good. So Ashiok is a 3 mana, 5 loyalty, legendary planeswalker. Ashiok. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause their control to search the library. How is that significant? I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter much. There's not much search in this format, anyways. But yeah, -1. Target player mills 4, then it's all each opponent graveyard. So yeah, this actually may mill more than Stitcher Supplier because it's still a bit flexible. It's like 4, 8, 12, 16, or 20 cards you mill. Yeah, so it can be the highest mill. So it can be absolute highest mill, really highest mill, better highest mill, just highest mill, normal mill, or yeah, you will always mill at least 4. So it's like the Stitcher Supplier, where you mill 3 at least. You may mill 6 with it, but this is like you mill 4, but then you can mill 8. So this is higher than all the others, milling 8. Then mill 12 is absolute higher. Mill 16 is really, really higher. Mill 20 is just, you're just really lucky if you manage to mill 20 with it. Yeah. Either way, every time you activate, you just exile their graveyard. Yeah. That's how good it is. Yeah. As well. Next one. So, yep, there we go. And let's start off with the lands. There are 4 Watery Graves in this deck. So you play this in case if you have any stuck Narcomoebas or Prized Amalgams in your hand that you need to cast. So you use Watery Grave just to cast them. 2 Blooming Marsh. So you just so it's a fast land. If you play in the first few turns, then it'll be better than a shock land. And Overgrown Tomb, 4 of those. So again, it's a shock land, best shock land in this deck actually. Oh yeah, it's really good shock land because it's black or green, which is the most significant colors in this deck. Blue is just for Narcomoeba and Prize Amalgam. Ashiok is hybrid blue, so you can still cast it with just black and green. Yeah, just black is enough. And so that's the first lands. That's one. And so we got more lands. So there's Woodland Cemetery, which is a 2 mana. It's 2 copies of it. It's a land that enters battlefield tapped unless you control swamp or forest. So it's a check land. Quite good because it'll usually come in untapped if you just have a Watery Grave or Overgrown Tomb, which is quite easy to have. Also with a forest and a swamp, it's good. So forest and swamp is good when the opponent plays stuff so you search the library. So you just use basics as well, which is quite good. Basic forest and a basic swamp is always good to have. I was considering a basic island, but nah, it's not a good idea to put a basic island in there. It's just forest and swamp is enough. Now, let's get to the next land. There we go. So, the final set of lands, there's Yavimaya Coast. 2 copies. Land, tap for colorless, or tap add green or blue, deals 1 damage to you. Land or Waste, so 2 copies. Tap add colorless, tap at black or green, deals 1 damage to you. Botanical Sanctum, 2 copies, land, enters battlefield tapped unless you control 2 of your lands. Tap at green or blue. It's a fast land, it's good, yeah. It basically serves the same purpose as the Watery Grave, because you can just cast all those Prize Amalgams and Narcomoebas that are stuck in your hand. And you can also do that to cast the green stuff. This green-blue land is quite good because it can be used to cast green stuff and can be used to cast Ashiok as well, which is quite good, like the Yamamaya coast. So yeah, let's actually move on. Before we move on to sideboard, let's talk about the maybe board. And this is the maybe board. With the new Pharaohs Beyond Death out, there are actually 2 cards that were considered being added to the Dredgeless Dredge. Some variants were actually playing with those cards. So yeah, the 2 cards that might be in the deck, it's first of all we'll talk about Merfolk Secret Keeper. So Merfolk Secret Keeper, say 1 mana, 0/4 Merfolk Wizard with an adventure attached to it. Venture Deeper, Sorcery Adventure. Target player mills 4. As well, again, it's just another form of self-mill, like it can be Senator Wayfinder there. Ashiok, if it was activated only once, it can be greater than Stitcher Supplier. If Stitcher Supplier didn't die, it usually is less than Stitcher Supplier. And yeah, but it can be just less mill. It's blue as well, so that's another way of using that blue mana you have there. And then afterwards, you can get 1 mana 0/4, which works as a wall, which is quite good. Yeah. So then it's Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. That's the other card I was considering running. It's 1 green and blue. Ow. Sits legendary creature, Elder Giant. When enters battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. When enters battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto battlefield. Escape for double green, double blue, exile 500 cards from your graveyard. Again, it's a way of exiling the excess cards in the graveyard, like Gurmag Gangler and Scrap Trawler does. Yeah, and it can help you ramp as well, heal up life as well, and card draw as well. And then afterwards, it's just a big creature. Uro and Krotza, now I just realized they are making reference to the original Titans, the original Cycle of Titans from a certain core set. I don't know what core set it was, but yeah. Uro and Krotza are just referencing those because it has enter battlefield or attack abilities. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. No worry. Let's talk about the sideboard. We'll be right back with the sideboard in just a moment. Welcome back, and it's time for the sideboard. Yep. So let's talk about the sideboard and how will you use those cards and when is it worth it to sideboard them in. There we go. there we go. So we got Fatal Push, which is a... So we got removals. 3 removals, Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay, and Assassin's Trophy. So Fatal Push is a 1 mana instant. Destroy target creature if it has a converted mana cost of 2 or less. And Revolt, destroy if it's 4 or less instead. That's the Revolt effect. So it's really good because I can take out small creatures. If it revolts, then you just take out medium-sized creatures as well. But it's mainly used to just kill just the 2 or less. The revolt part is an extra. If you manage to revolt, then it's 4 or less. Yeah. There's Abrupt Decay as well. It's 2 mana instant. Can't be countered as well, which is good against the control decks. Let's return on-land permanent with CMC 3 or less. Yeah. It can break artifacts, enchantments, creatures, even planeswalkers. It's just 3 or less, no downside even, and it can be countered, so always hit. Unless if they do Spell Queller or Ashiok's Erasure to exile that. That's how you can evade Abrupt Decay. And Assassin's Trophy can be used as well, like Abrupt Decay. It's just the worst version of Abrupt Decay. The thing is that because, it can hit any permanent, even lands, well, only can hit the opponent's stuff, and they search for basic land. And it can be countered, so it's not really that good compared to Abrupt Decay. Assassin's Trophy is good, but Abrupt Decay, in my opinion, is actually quite better in most case scenario. Well, Abrupt Decay can't kill off stuff like Abrupt Decay basically just kills anything in this format, practically saying, except for Gurmag Angler, and Assassin's Trophy just kills the rest. It's a minor difference, but Assassin's Trophy, major impact because it can be countered and it gives them a basic. Yeah, it's not that good. Next one. Yeah, remember to do that if you haven't already. And if you do that, you can get a code as well. Because every time that a new set is out, I'll just be doing code giveaways. So just give away all the pre-release codes to any subscribers, and followers. So remember, if you want a code, like and subscribe, and follow, and then afterwards, and then just message me on Facebook, Twitter, or just Instagram, or even on Twitch, Whisper, and I'll give you a code if you've subscribed, like, follow. Now let's talk about the mirror. What you do against the mirror, it's put Leyline of the Void and Ashiok Dream Render up. Ashiok. So you put a second Ashiok in the deck. And Leyline of the Void is good. It's 4 mana enchantment. But if it's in your opening hand, you begin the game with it on the battlefield. So it's good. That's how. So you can just start the game with it. And if a card will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So So just destroy their graveyard strategies, since everything will have to get exiled. It's not like Rest in Peace where exiles everything from the graveyard and then no more stuff can hit the graveyard. This is just no more stuff can hit the graveyard, but anything that's already in the graveyard can stay there. It's a good card. It's really good against mirror matches, any similar graveyard strategies as well. It's so good. That's one. And so we got 2 enchantment removals. We got the new Mystic Repeal. Some versions are running it as well. It's 1 green instant. Put target enchantment on the bottom of its owner's library. So it's 1 mana, yes, but yeah. But it's not really that good because it only hits enchantments and it puts it to bottom and doesn't destroy it. Yeah. Also, another way of using is another card that's used is Return to Nature. 2 mana instant. Choose 1. Destroy the artifact or destroy the artifact or destroy the enchantment or exile target card from a graveyard. Yeah. You're most likely going to use the destroy target artifact or destroy target enchantment mode, but if by any chance you have to exile a card from a graveyard, then use it to exile the card. Is this the new Colossal Dreadmaw? I don't know, because it's been printed in WarSpark, reprinted in Fur of Eldraine, and now reprinted in Feros Beyond Death. Similar cases in Feros, they Feros Beyond Death, I mean, yeah. They reprinted Throw of Possibility, and they reprinted Infuriate. So yeah, these may soon be considered as Colossal Dreadmaws as well. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, so good. Don't worry. We're near the end. The final one of this podcast. The final cards in the sideboard. And there's 2 hand disruption cards that can be used against control decks. There is Thoughtseize, which is used to get rid of most stuff. 1 mana sorcery, target player reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards a card. That card, you lose 2 life. And the rest, it's 1 mana sorcery, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. So it usually runs both. So sometimes it can run both. Other times it'll just run Thoughtseize. Cheaper versions of the deck will just run Duress only. But I think I'll just run both. They're both quite good because, well, Thoughtseize can hit anything except for lands. You lose life, yeah, it doesn't really matter much. And the rest, it doesn't make you lose life, but you can't hit creatures either. Yeah, that's the deck tech. Yeah, so congratulations, you've reached the end of this podcast. So why don't you like and subscribe if you haven't already, follow if you haven't already, share with friends, stay tuned to our next videos, and try out this deck if you want. Don't worry, tomorrow or later tonight, the deck list will be available on MTG Goldfish. And yeah, and you can check it from there. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and bye.